Hey, hi Stitch. Nice to see you. Yeah. So it looks like we're gonna have to actually complete the mission in Star Wars: The Old Republic because it has reset again, and I tried to speed run it before stream, and well, that didn't go according to plan. So we're gonna speed run through the bits that we've already done and then get to the new stuff. So yeah, basically, got any like nerdy questions or anything like that, this is probably the best time to do it in the next section because you've already seen this part of the gameplay, so you won't be missing out on anything or anything like that. Turns out that it's just not a safe zone, so you can't save here, no matter what you do. So, yeah. Let's see if we can get to an actual save point today. And then if we've got time, we'll skip over onto some Battlefront 2 before we end the stream. As you've probably noticed as well, we're at a later time than usual. That was because there was a hell of a downpour here where I am. And I didn't know if we were going to have the same issue as last Thursday, so I waited for it to kind of dissipate a little bit before I moved into streaming, just to make sure that we would get some good quality. But yeah, that's about it, really. How's everybody's week been? Because obviously I missed Tuesday's stream due to illness. But besides that, I haven't really done much. Saw my family at the weekend. Just gone. That live down south. They came up for a bit. Well, actually, they only came up for the weekend. It wasn't actually as long as we normally get to see them, but it was still nice to see them. And I got to introduce my baby sister to one of my favourite childhood movies as a kid, Oliver and Company, while simultaneously making myself feel really old because at that point everyone fell asleep, probably because it was like a long day. So my dad had gone upstairs with a migraine. Sister and brother-in-law had gone to bed tired. My stepmother fell asleep on the sofa, and it was just me and my sisters, and I'm older than them by quite a big margin. My baby sister is literally 19, almost 20 years younger than I am. And they started arguing about what to watch. And I made myself feel really old because I turned around to them and I did something my mum would have done when I was a kid. And I went, if you don't stop arguing in a minute, I'm going to turn the telly off and neither of us are going to get to watch anything. And it made me feel like a proper adult. It was so weird. Yeah, I've never had to do anything like that. But then they picked a movie and we watched it. And for once, they were actually quiet. Thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. So your week's been good, Stitch. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, we're going to dive into some Star Wars: The Old Republic. And see if we can actually bang out this level. Because it has been one hell of a ride to do so, to be honest. I think this is the third stream we've been doing the same level. So let's hopefully we can get it done. But, yeah. let's the bots must die, I agree. I agree. They're doing my head in. Like I said, I tried to speed run this thing. I thought maybe I could get past the bits we've already done without engaging with them, but no such luck. They blew up my speeder and killed me in the onslaught. Thanks. I prefer the dark side, or maybe a grey Jedi, but sentiment. So, let's move on over to the game section. Give it a sec as always, there we go. The obligatory second we have to give Star Wars The Old Republic before it decides it actually wants to show up. Thanks for the encouragement, guys. Let's see if we can actually manage to speedrun this one. And before I forget, because I always tend to after I die, let's call the only robot we like. Although I have a weird suspicion, and it isn't because I've played this game before, because I don't actually remember this part at all, that robot's going to get infected with the same virus they've all got. So. Okay. I thought so. Yeah, it was here where the speedrun part of my initial before stream part ended. Because this thing blew up the speeder. Yeah, it's the robot droid that we get given for this mission. I thought as much. The other problem is we're in an area where there's no, like, support, and my lightsaber's broke. So we're kinda, how do you say, up a creek without a paddle. Just gonna have to rely on the Force and my allies. So let's hopefully destroy this thing. Right. Bombard this thing with lightning. Get the crushing darkness. Add a bit of extra lightning damage.
This always does the trick.
I mean, from a certain point of view, I'm the bad guy. Oh no, no, don't. I forgot about the giant robot fight. My lightsaber's broke. Oh, what am I gonna do? Oh man. So, we have a small choice, guys. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys on what to do. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, the only way to fix it because of the location I'm in, which is why I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to choose, is we go back to the space station. There is nowhere to fix it here. I don't know if that'll reset anything. Hopefully it won't. But, it's entirely up to you guys. Yeah, fix it. Got it. Right. Yeah, you have to do it through the Galactic map, though. Um... But, what? But, that doesn't make any sense. I am not... okay. So, apparently... I can't fast travel to the Imperial fleet because I'm already at the Imperial fleet. But no, I'm not. Okay. Anybody else confused? Or is that just me? Yeah. I'm definitely confused.com right now. Okay. I think I can exit the area I'm in. There we go. Ah, there we go. And there was a lift. Now we just need to find any body that sells somewhere. Okay. Looks like we're pulling a Forrest Gump and going for a run. As OJ suggested. Let's hope we remember our way back. Well, it ain't that way. Right, okay, so where do we need to go? Is it this way? Okay. It's gotta be this way, because we're just looking for anyone that would, basically any NPC that when we hover over them, there we go, we get the number 7. Because we can use them to access the repair log. And repair all our gear.
Nobody better mess with us now.
Be well.
Perfect. So literally pulling a Forrest Gump actually worked. Not what I actually expected. But cool. Ah. I just wanted to see if the robot would follow me if I did a loop-de-loop. So, Starkiller is unreasonably strong for a Star Wars character. This is why Starkiller would not be made canon at all. Like, never, unfortunately. Because he's awesome. But, and for those of you that don't know who Starkiller is, they did a video game called Star Wars Force Unleashed. And Starkiller was the apprentice and then clone of said apprentice to Darth Vader. And he was OP to the point where he pulled a Star Destroyer out of the sky with just the Force. Like, it was insane the types of feats they gave him in that game. And it's why we've never seen him in live action. And why we'll never see him in live action. And unfortunately, I think that is also... I don't think it's surpassing, but it's comparable. I also think that is why we won't see Darth Revan in live action. Although I know a lot of people do want to see Darth Revan in live action. As well as the Sith Emperor from this game. The Sith Emperor from this game and Darth Bane, who is the one that eventually wipes him out, are the ones that like are so OP. Darth Bane like literally wipes out the entire Sith Empire that you see in this game to create the Sith that we see in the original and sequel trilogies. And as for the Emperor in this, he is fundamentally immortal because he figured out a way to drain the force energy of other living beings to keep himself alive and sustain his strength. It's insane. Like, the amount of stuff these people do. It's why when they showed people like Darth Plagueis the Wise in the Acolyte end credits, so sort of thing, it was so exciting, and unfortunately that show got cancelled before that could come to fruition. I mean, I think there might be a way to demonstrate their power, but the problem is, no one hates Star Wars fans more than Star Wars fans. And no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. Because at the end of the day, if Star Wars and Disney didn't manage to pull off beloved characters like Starkiller, like Revan, like Darth Bane properly, the backlash to that would probably kill the franchise. We've had backlash before, but that was about characters that nobody really knew anything about, like Rey and Osha and May. And all I'm gonna say is those characters were created by Disney, so the backlash on those characters came from the fact that in some discussions it came from bad places, obviously, but in the more reasonable places where the negative sides were pulled up, you had this thing of it was because Disney didn't understand Star Wars. Whereas if they take beloved characters that already had something about them that was fundamentally understood and everybody agrees is integral to Star Wars and is part of Star Wars and should be a part of Star Wars canon, and then it gets ruined, that's not Disney creating their own character but not understanding the concept of Star Wars. That's Disney ruining something that is already established. And say what you will about their treatment of Luke, it's arguable that their treatment of Luke is exactly what Yoda prophesied would happen. Whereas if they messed up characters like them, even people that are on their side would suddenly vanish because they're so popular. And I think that's why they wouldn't be shown in live action. So whether they could come up with a proper demonstration of their power that would work to show it off perfectly, it doesn't matter, because they would never think to touch it, because they know I think at least they know the drawbacks of screwing that up. Or at least I hope they do. I think they've done a good enough job with some of the characters they were given so far. Like, was I super impressed with the way that Luke's story played out? No. Could I see why it went that way? Yes, because Yoda basically told Luke that it was gonna go that way in Empire. He said, "You look too far to the future, too dreamy-eyed." which means you are too eager to reach it, too scared of it. And that will lead to your downfall, which is what happened. Luke was too focused on Kylo's future to see Kylo right then and there, and made a mistake. A mistake he instantly regretted, but it's a mistake that doomed the rest of the galaxy. And ultimately got Han Solo killed, his best friend. So, that's something Luke had to live with. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't have loved to have seen Luke Skywalker in his prime whipping ass and throwing his lightsaber about, but luckily we got a scene like that in The Mandalorian, which, in my opinion, made up for the lackluster badassery of Luke in the sequels. But yeah, I think that's my take on your question, OJ. Thank you, young Luke, for putting that in the chat. So, let's continue taking on these droids. The Witches of Dathomir, they're not really witches. They are and they're not. They're witches in the sense that the Jedi are space wizards, in my opinion. They use the Force in a different way to Jedi and get different effects from it because they understand it differently. Hi, Portia. With that, I think it just means that the Force can be understood in many different ways, and because of that, they're provided different abilities. I mean, the Sith have a ability called Sith Sorcery and Sith Alchemy, which they use in the Clone Wars animated series with the Witches of Dathomir. To do some things which are pretty OP, but they don't like outright outshine what the Jedi can do. I mean, we learn through the sequel trilogy, love them or hate them, that the Jedi can heal wounds. I mean, that would have been handy for Obi-Wan to have known when he was trying to help Qui-Gon at the end of Phantom Menace. The universe would have been a much different place if Obi-Wan had been taught that technique. But it's something that he wasn't taught, and maybe if he had been, the universe, like I say, maybe the universe would have ended up in a much safer and secure place. But then maybe it would have also never found balance. And that's the thing, isn't it? The Jedi were so consumed with the light side that they believed that anything but the light side wasn't balanced. And this might be my interpretation, and you feel free to disagree with me, but I don't think that that was balance. I think balance is not the light nor the dark, it's just the Force. There is no light side, there is no dark side of the Force, there is only the Force. But that's my interpretation of it, really. It's just that one chooses to, or was supposed to, go with the flow of the Force, but instead went with the flow of politics, and one was to force the Force to submit to them. That's the difference in the ideology between the Jedi and the Sith. It's not really dark and light, it's freedom and suppression and oppression. The Sith don't just oppress the galaxy, they oppress the Force itself. The only person that truly was balanced in Star Wars is Qui-Gon Jinn. He's the only one that actually listened to what the Force wanted him to do. It's why when the Council said, hey, we're not going to train Anakin Skywalker, he's too old. Qui-Gon went, yeah, we are. The Force told me, yes, we are, and guess what? Even if you say no, I'm doing it anyway. And to me, that is what the Jedi were supposed to be, and I don't even think Luke managed to capture that. But I don't put Luke down that on Luke, because Luke was still trained by the former Jedi. He was still trained by Obi-Wan and Yoda, who didn't see things the same way Qui-Gon did. And maybe if they'd have been trained by Qui-Gon, then they would have been able to It's the great lie of the Sith. The Sith seem more lenient in their teachings, telling you to embrace your emotions, while the Jedi seem to be telling you to ignore them. But it's not that the Jedi are telling you to ignore your emotions and that the Sith are telling you to embrace your emotions. It's that specifically Anakin as well, he misunderstands the Jedi teachings. The Jedi teachings aren't about, like, not having attachment at all. It's unhealthy attachment that's forbidden. Anakin's attachments weren't attachments. They were unhealthy attachments. It's summed up best in what Yoda tells Anakin, but Anakin misunderstands what Yoda is trying to tell him. Yoda says, let go of that which you fear to lose. And Anakin takes it, and this is just my opinion on that statement. Anakin takes it to mean that he must let go of Padme in order to save Padme, but he can't do that. So he must find another way. Whereas my interpretation and the way that I see that statement from it is this. It's that you can love something, but the minute you fear it's lost and you hold on tighter because you fear to lose it, you are too committed to that thing, and that is the path to the dark side. Because that is when the dark side can corrupt you, because they can prey on that weakness to not be able to let go. So it's not saying that you can't love something, but if you love something to the point that you can't bear to part with it, even in death, then did you really love it at all? Or did you just love the idea of having it? I think that's the problem. And I think that's Anakin's main problem as well. So, Palpatine doesn't care about Vader. Palpatine doesn't even... By the time of the Empire, Palpatine doesn't even need an apprentice. As far as Palpatine is concerned, Vader is there as an attack dog. He's not his apprentice. He's not there to complete the rule of two and take Sidious's power and complete that cycle. He's there to just sit there and do as he's told. like a good little boy. Because why does Palpatine need an apprentice? He already accomplished the goal of the Sith. The goal of the Sith was literally to conquer the galaxy. I was trying to find the word. To rule it. To dominate it. Palpatine did that. Now all Palpatine needed was to keep it. And how do you keep it? You have a little attack dog that everyone's afraid of. And that was Darth Vader. But how do you keep Darth Vader from wanting to kill you? Oh, how's my good little puppy? Here's a treat. Oh, you did this to me and you want a planet? Here's your planet. Are you going to try and use that planet to bring your wife back? Cool, cool, cool. Here's this helmet of this really awesome Sith architect that can help you. He's totally not going to double cross you and you're not going to have to deal with that, which means you're not going to bring your wife back. But that will still mean you're under my thumb. Cool. Awesome. Oh, you killed a bunch of Inquisitors and it ended up killing a Senator. But I'm not really going to punish you. I'm just going to give the Inquisitors their own planet and you're going to deal with them, yeah? Awesome. Oh, by the way, the Grand Inquisitor, yeah, he was one of the Jedi Temple Guards that you didn't kill on Order 66. So he knows you're Anakin Skywalker. See what I mean? Like, he gave him leniency, but he kept pulling at things to make Vader also bend the knee. Yeah, he's a tool. Something to be used. And, but then at the same time, Palpatine needed an heir. He needed an heir to the Sith Empire, so if anything was to happen to him while he was Emperor, because don't forget, he had his backup plan on Exegol that we learn about in the sequels and we learn about through The Mandalorian and all the shows. But that wasn't a guarantee and it wasn't at fruition yet. So he needed an heir in case he was assassinated or he died of old age. Like, he could slow his aging with the Force, but he couldn't make himself immortal. That's what the clones were for. But until they were ready, he needed someone that could step into that spot. And that's what Vader was there for as well. He was a tool, but also a placeholder. I think if Anakin hadn't have become crispy chicken on Mustafar, then he would have been more of a proper apprentice and actually groomed to take over the Empire. But as soon as he became like the lava chicken from the Minecraft movie, Palpatine saw him as fundamentally useless. He could be used in the way that he was used as his attack dog and his tool and a stopgap for Palpatine's return, but that was it. That was all Vader was really good for. He would never be what he was supposed to be because he let Obi-Wan Kenobi beat him. And that was his greatest failure. And Sidious would never let Vader forget it. But then he also didn't want Vader to turn around and betray him, so he built a failsafe into his suit. So that if Vader did decide, hey, you know what, I've had enough of being manipulated and groomed by this dude, you know, this pervy old guy that the Jedi Order have let me see by myself since I was 9 years old. I want to kill this dude. No, Force lightning, you're dead. Yeah, so the Inquisitorial Squad, it's literally they're they're literally just Dark Jedi. They're not Sith, they're Dark Jedi. And I do like when Vader puts them in their place. It is one of the best things. Like, why should we listen to you? Where Darkseid uses too. And then he kills them all without effort. And he's like, bitch, please, I'm a Sith Lord. You're just little puppy dogs. I also like the common trope in TV and video games for Darth Vader. Darth Vader only two-hands his lightsaber when he's actually trying. Meaning, if you play a video game and Darth Vader is one-handing his lightsaber, he does not give a shit and knows he can win. To him, you are one tap. But when he grabs it with two hands, he's like, oh no, you're a bit of a challenge. Better show you some respect. I do like the fact that even though he created the Inquisitors for Vader, he specifically put characters on the Inquisitorial Squad that Anakin would be familiar with because they knew him as Anakin Skywalker. Specifically, the Grand Inquisitor fits that role the most, but I do like the fact that they did that. Yeah, in Jedi Survivor against Sia. That was a good. Like he did not care. Even even set on fire in that bookshop. In the library part of it, he did not give a fuck. And you'd think fire would be more traumatic for Darth Vader after Mustafar. But bro was like, yeah, you guys are ants. You do realize that you guys mean nothing, right? And that I am literally Darth Vader. Do you think Cal will have to fight Vader in the final game? Because that's something that I've been wondering.
I need to know why you're betraying your comrades.
I will be honest.
Like if they plan to kill Cal Kestis off, do you think it will be against Vader?
However, I do not believe that this justifies the mass extermination.
Because he's already shown that he can mollywop any Inquisitor they put up against him. Yeah, I know he died. That's what I'm saying. Like, if they decide that Cal Kestis has to die before the original trilogy, and they want it to be at the hands of someone in the Empire, do you think they would put him up against Vader
People you don't even like?
for that?
It's really so hard to believe that I might have the principles and convictions beyond selfish.
My dearest, oldest friend, you disappoint me so much.
Like, sort of like, you start the fight, you're winning, you land a hit on Darth Vader, and then it fades into a cutscene.
Is your dependence on our former masters so deeply seated? Can you really not free yourself of your enslavers?
It's either he gets turned into an Inquisitor and killed by another Jedi like
Speak again,
Ahsoka,
I'll cut you all to
or
scrap.
he survives
Answer to your kind
all the way
hero.
through the Empire,
These droids
but we never hear of him.
the leader of Directive 7.
We are mentor.
Darth Vader.
Lives
So
by thought and action.
that's actually
Shared healer.
it's complicated. So
Surrender my individual
Anakin Skywalker is originally a good guy and a war hero for
I'm not wasting any more
the
time
Clone
listening to a
Wars
bunch of machines.
until he turns to the dark side trying to save his pregnant wife from what he believes is certain death, but it's bullshit. It's like a false prophecy created by an evil dude that's placed in his head to make him worried and think that he has to turn to the dark side. Then Darth Vader becomes then he becomes Darth Vader and becomes a genocidal maniac who kills children and elderly people for the fun of it, pretty much. And then what do you call it? He then deals with so after doing that, he gets like PTSD, manipulated, tortured, and burnt alive, and all that stuff. Becomes even eviler, if you can believe it. Murders every other Jedi left around until there is no other Jedi. He even attempts to kill his former student and friend until eventually his son finds him and manages to turn him back to the good side, but he's only good for like 5 minutes before he dies, and then he's dead. So all in all, he spends about as much time as a good guy as he does as a bad guy.
We are one.
In my opinion. But yeah. I mean, if anybody else has anything to add on that, feel free. But I'm pretty sure that's it for the tragedy of Darth Vader the Ruthless.
You will grow tired. You will weaken.
So the gold guy has a force field. But yeah, so that's I mean, that's mainly the story of Darth Vader. A 9-year-old boy that was groomed by an old pervert. If Ahsoka became an Inquisitor, I think Luke would have a much harder time convincing Anakin to turn back to the light side. I'm not saying it's impossible because he is a literal living embodiment of a connection to Padme. But Ahsoka is like Anakin's little sister. If he was able to turn his basically pseudo little sister to the dark side, I think that would make Anakin believe that even more, that he was doing the right thing by turning to the dark side and siding with Palpatine. In my opinion. I think that would be literally where he would go with it. I can't see. I'm not saying, like I said, I don't think it's impossible.
Yes, part of him.
But if he was able to take Ahsoka as an apprentice or make her an Inquisitor, I think having someone he considers family side with him, reaffirming his decision to turn to the dark side, would kind of quiet that voice in his head that tells him what he's doing is wrong. So when Luke shows up as his actual family to tell him that he's wrong and what he's doing is wrong, he would go back to Ahsoka, who would probably at this point reaffirm that no, they're in the right. The Republic failed. Look at how it probably goes something like this. The Republic failed. The Jedi failed. Look at how they failed her. They put her on trial for a crime she didn't commit. They were going to sentence her to life imprisonment or even execute her, and she did nothing wrong. How could Anakin side with an order like that? No wonder he turned to the dark side. And that would probably just reaffirm everything that Anakin believes. I think Ahsoka turning would have been the worst thing that ever happened to the galaxy. A lot of the Jedi only managed to survive because Ahsoka becomes Fulcrum as well. So, Ahsoka being 100% on the side of evil means that there are much more Jedi that did not survive Order 66. I can also see it going something like straight after Order 66, when Anakin shows up on the place where Ahsoka buries her lightsaber. Let's say instead of ending her time on the thing as a Jedi, she leaves and she finds and she stays there and she confronts whoever comes to see if she's dead, and it's still Anakin that comes, and so yeah. Then he would turn her at the end of the Clone Wars. That would go even worse. Because he could use the fact that even the clones turned on them. And yeah, they were embedded with inhibitor chips. But knowing the warping of Sidious at that point, he'd blame that on the Jedi. He'd say the Jedi were the ones to embed the clones with the inhibitor chips and hide it even from the Republic.
Please.
I will strike you down if you take another step.
Now, what are you doing out of stasis? You're not supposed to... Oh. You again.
So,
This could have been your future, you know.
I think the main thing is that I've been watching a lot of those Star Wars theories.
Extermination is the only option.
And the one character that I think they they keep missing out on by not making a theory about it, and I've spoken to my cousin about this before, and I think like this is, in my opinion, the most important Star Wars character. Let me know in the chat who you think it is, and when we've got to beyond the bit where we were before, I'll tell you who I actually think it is. But I want to know who your guys' thoughts on the most important Star Wars character. And no cheating, guys. If you know who it is. Because I know some of you do.
Now.
I'm talking to you, mods.
Perhaps if I do, you'll agree with my conclusion. You're nothing more than a pack of hateful, irrational beasts. Violence and anger are all you know. Observe.
Let him pull aggro while I have a drink. I love having that little droid. He gets to pull aggro. So I can go and have a drink. While, instead of them attacking me straight away. But yeah, after the big droid fight, I'll reveal who I think the most important character in Star Wars is.
Nobody better meddle with us now.
Dear friends, our revolution continues to approach just as we've all hoped and planned.
Here we go again.
Ah. Sorry, I was just concentrating on this bit. So, who do you guys think it is then?
We would create our own society of reason and freedom.
Any guesses? I will give you guys a clue. It is not a Jedi. No one got a guess? It could be Darth Vader. I can see why you'd think Darth Vader. I mean, without Darth Vader, without Anakin / Darth Vader, the entire franchise doesn't happen. It is literally called the Skywalker Saga to honor his commitment to everything. But no, I don't think it is Darth Vader. Well, Darth Vader's like probably the central character besides Luke Skywalker to the entire franchise. No, it's not Darth Vader. But it is connected to Darth Vader. There's your second hint. Well, more specifically, his Anakin persona.
Now we will only be remembered for lashing out with the same irrational
Nope.
violence as the organics who built us.
Not Darth Maul either. Now, while he is the first Sith encountered in the franchise, I don't think his impact on the galaxy as a whole is enough to warrant being the most important character in the Star Wars franchise. Up there for sure, but not quite there. So, give you a hint that he's part of the species that we're currently battling. That's your hint.
Statistically, our victory is beyond certainty.
Nope. Now, again, he is the New Hope. He is the central character without which the Death Star would not be blown up. And he is the main protagonist of the original trilogy. He is one of the biggest important characters in Star Wars. But he's a Jedi, so he's disqualified on the fact that he's a Jedi. Nope, it's not Chewbacca. I'm loving these guesses though. today. What? It's not Yoda or today. I don't know who today is. Or was that like a autocorrect? I thought it might have been an autocorrect. I just got a little bit like, never heard of anybody called today.
Ignore them. Security teams will eliminate the problem shortly.
Thought I was about to learn something then. But no, it's the... That's very close, actually. But no, it's not 3PO either. And there we go. Yes, to me, the most important character in Star Wars, as it has been guessed, is R2-D2. I think that without R2-D2, the entire franchise does not happen the way it does. What we've got to remember is that R2-D2 is the droid responsible for repairing Padme Amidala's ship, which is the only reason they were able to make it to Tatooine to be able to get the new parts they needed in the first place. To the point where she awards the droid for his heroism in the movie. If they never made it to Tatooine, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi never discover Anakin Skywalker. If Anakin Skywalker is never discovered, then Palpatine does not kill Plagueis. He has no reason to. So their plans still go ahead, but with those two at the spearhead. Without Anakin to be trained as a Jedi, there is no one to eventually bring balance to the Force. Now, you could argue that the Force would find another way to bring Anakin into the fold. And while I do agree that that is a possibility, there is no guarantee that that is what would happen. Then we have to add in the fact that while R2-D2, is responsible for the Naboo fighter being able to pick up Anakin in the first place, R2-D2 is also instrumental in getting Luke on his hero's journey in the original trilogy. Because without R2-D2, Luke would never have seen the recording that was meant for Obi-Wan Kenobi, which I personally believe R2 intentionally showed Luke. I don't think it was done by accident. We know from the prequel trilogy that 3PO's memory banks were wiped, but R2's was not. As such, it's my personal belief that R2-D2 intentionally showed Luke the recording of Leia, knowing that she's his sister, because he was there at their birth, because he recognized Luke's surname of Skywalker. Let's not forget that after Padme and Anakin were married, they swapped droids as a way of wedding rings, because C-3PO was Anakin's protocol droid that he built on Tatooine, and R2-D2 originally belonged to Padme. He was a droid assigned to her ship. So it wouldn't make sense for Anakin to then just get him for no reason. It's become like fan consensus that he got him as a sort of wedding gift from Padme, and they traded droids in lieu of trading wedding rings because they were trying to keep their wedding a secret. so they traded their robots instead. Because that was easier to explain. The war had just begun, and Anakin could say, well, with the war, I don't really need a protocol droid. I do need an astromech to protect my ship, so me and Senator Amidala did a trade. That is a possibility of how they got around that. But yeah, if R2-D2 wasn't there, then things definitely go completely different.
To bring a rapid resolution.
In my opinion. I think R2-D2 is the most instrumental character in Star Wars. Even in the sequel trilogy, BB-8 only has one half of the map. If R2-D2 did not wake up when he does and present them with the other half of the map, then they're not getting to Luke.
All better.
So once again, R2-D2 proves himself as instrumental. I think R2-D2 is definitely the most important character, but closely followed by Anakin, who is the chosen one after all, and then Luke, who I believe is the one that actually fulfills the prophecy of the chosen one. But I think Anakin still fulfills it because it says through him balance to the Force will be restored, and I took that to mean that Luke is the one that restores balance by bringing Anakin back to the light side, because Anakin is Luke's father, so through him, through his son, balance was restored. If Anakin did not have a son, hence if Anakin did not break the Jedi code, there would be no balance in the Force.
You're good to go.
But that's my interpretation of the prophecy. They do say that it could have been misinterpreted in the prequels, and what I think they misinterpreted was that it wasn't Anakin, but Anakin's bloodline. So through Anakin's bloodline, balance to the Force would be restored. Because again, that would make sense, because even though Rey is the one that eventually does it, it is through Ben and Rey working together that Palpatine is eventually destroyed in the sequels. Ben being Anakin's grandson, therefore, through him, balance was restored. I mean, I like that interpretation. I don't know if other people in the Star Wars fandom do, but I do. So here we go. We're back at the big droid, the one I hate.
You're good to go.
So let's see if we can manage to destroy this thing.
Defensive protocols have been
I do not love this thing, really. Not at all. This thing is evil. Remember last time when I didn't know I had to destroy these? I'm just gonna spam this as much as I can until it puts its defensive barrier back up.
Defensive protocols have engaged.
So let's see if we can blow this thing up.
Defensive protocols have engaged.
Nobody better mess with us now.
Right. We can do this. Alright.
Defensive protocols have engaged.
Ah, this droid is really annoying. We can do it, we can do it, we can do it.
No!
Hey, we got it. Hopefully this time we'll be able to find a safe space.
Organics have reached the central processor core. All units not assigned to level 7 critical tasks must immediately report for security assignment.
All better.
Awesome, so the droid is there. And we need to go over here. Of course we do, guys. What's everyone's favorite Force ability? I think mine's the lightning. I wish the Jedi got the lightning. I know they have Force Judgment that they can use, but it's not the same, is it really? And we never actually get to see or play as a Jedi other than Starkiller that uses the lightning. I think the lightning would be a really cool addition to be able to use in Jedi Survivor, but I don't in the Jedi series. But I understand why we can't, because Cal Kestis isn't a grey Jedi or a fallen Jedi, and he doesn't know Force Judgment.
If I die, I'm going to haunt you.
So he wouldn't really use it. It'd be cool if you could learn Force Judgment though. Like maybe we get a master in one of the series and you get to learn Force Judgment from them. And that's literally how you learn how to do lightning as a Jedi. It'd be a cool way to incorporate it without having Cal fall to the dark side. Or maybe you do have Cal fall to the dark side for a little bit and we get to play that out and we get to use the lightning. Because I know that me and Stitch aren't the only ones that like the lightning abilities. Holy moly. Holy Moses. So let's see.
Think you scare me?
Is it me or are these robots getting bigger the further I get into this compound? Like, they seem to be getting bigger, and I don't know if that's just me. So, we're gonna see if we can get to the end of this mission. There we go, we got that down.
You should be aware that Mentor's intricately timed the facility's geothermal power cores to
You're good to
heat
go.
this moon's surface.
There we go. We got that one down too. Are we gonna have to go down to go up? It looks like we're gonna have to go.
Engage all
Yeah,
intelligent
I think we're going the right way, guys.
the pawn at all costs.
We go. And then we go this way, and then
Manage their energy fluctuations.
through here.
Irreparable damage to the moon's core structure is likely. Be prepared to make a quick evacuation
And
when the
then-
time comes.
Reach this door. Okay. Looks like we've reached a part I don't know.
You are by far the most savage, violent, relentless organics I have ever encountered. The prototypical representatives of your kind. The revolution cannot be stopped. When the signal is transmitted, my very being will spread to the farthest corners of the galaxy. After that moment, nothing you do here will matter. I will be everywhere, slaughtering your people on every world in existence.
Yeah.
You're going to die here, along with everything you've built.
Waste your efforts against me all you wish. You cannot change what's coming. I have guided my people to their moment of ultimate triumph. I brought an end to the most damaging scourge to ever face this galaxy. Your kind will be nothing but memories and rotting flesh.
We'll see. Okay. So what the heck do I do? Anyone got any tips? Any ideas?
The revolution
Never mind, I think I figured it out.
I am the end of organics. I will cleanse the chemistry.
Time resisting.
Ah, what the hell? Holy. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I guess. Oh my god. What the hell? We're all gonna die. I'm attacking. I'm hitting it with lightning. I'm just looking at the health bar so you can't see.
Revolution cannot be stopped.
Oh my god.
You're good to go.
Revolution cannot be stopped.
I got one. Holy. Holy cannoli. Okay, it's over here.
Revolution cannot be stopped.
Okay, I went to attack it, but it was already broke.
You're good to go.
Oh, for crying out.
Revolution cannot be stopped.
Another one. Oh my god, guys. I think we might be in a boss battle. Holy shit. Oh, no, no, no. I forgot to check my health. Oh, I killed that thing. Well, at least we're speed zooming. Jesus. Oh. Okay, I was busy reading. I was busy thingy, fighting the thing. I didn't read chat while I was doing that. I've just read chat now while I'm scooting there. Okay, I get it. I stayed still a bit too much. Alright, guys. I have a bit of a nasty habit.
Revolution cannot be stopped.
You're good to go.
What? balls. I think I'm gonna have to die. I forgot to revive the robot. Shiitake mushrooms. Right. We can get this done, I know we can. Yeah, it makes me laugh too. I mean, this is literally supposed to be a speeder to speed up combat and travel, and that guy manages to catch up with me.
Here we go again.
It is quite funny, to be honest. Right.
The revolution cannot be stopped.
Pretty sure it can. Alright, we can do it.
I am the end of organics. I will cleanse the galaxy. Time resisting.
Ah. This is so hard. Right.
Nobody better mess with us now.
The revolution cannot be stopped.
Right, we can do it, we can do it.
I am the end of organics. I will cleanse
Not
the
waste
galaxy.
time resisting.
Okay, what am I doing wrong? Because I know I need to move a bit more, which is what I've been trying to do. But what am I doing wrong? I want to get this mission complete today before we end stream. and stuff. So we might do Battlefront on a different day. I was planning on making up Sundays, Tuesday's stream on Sunday, so we can do Battlefront 2 then instead of today, just to so that we can finally get this mission done. But I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But from my perspective, I can't figure out what else I could do so that I don't die instantaneously. My dog just started barking and made me jump, so if you just saw me jump, that's what that was. But,
Here we go again. You're good to go.
Revolution cannot be stopped.
Here we go again.
right, we got that gun. Right, we got both down. That's the problem. A lot of my abilities require me to stand still, but they're bombing, so I can't do that. Got it. We got it. Is that green light? I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this, guys. It's literally zapping me. It's literally zapping all my health away. That's the problem I've got. So, Right, let's see. How do we get round it? I'm going to take a 5-minute break, guys, and I'm going to come back with some fresh eyes. I'll be right back. And then we'll see if we can get this done. So I'll see you guys in 5. And we're back. Hi guys. So, let's see if we can actually beat this and not destroyed by the laser. I took the 5 minutes I needed, maybe a little bit more, to get my head on straight. We'll try moving a bit more. I don't know how we're gonna get around that laser. That's the only thing. I just don't know how we're gonna do it. If anybody does have any suggestions, I am all ears. But at this moment, I don't know what we're gonna do. But let's just jump back in, and hopefully we can get there. Give it the obligatory 1 second for Star Wars The Old Republic, because it is a pain. I hope I've got this stitch, I really do. Like I said, it doesn't save, so I really want to be able to get this done. So the next time we're on Old Republic, we're not just repeating this mission again. I mean, I don't think you guys mind repeating this mission again. You've just been winding me up about all the robots that we've had to fight, but like, I'd like to show you some other parts of the game, if we can. So, you know, we just gotta beat this bit. And when with the Force is with me. So.
Here we go again.
We got this.
Revolution cannot be stopped.
Right, we'll spam it with lightning. Hopefully that gets it to shut down. Right, we shut that one down. We gotta shut this one down. Fights electricity. Cutie, cute. Damn it! I've been watching The Rookie and now I've got that song stuck in my head. And if any nerds of the round table are from the podcast are still here, yes, The Rookie is the one with Nathan Fillion in, so feel free to wind me up as you usually do about Nathan Fillion. With it down on the wrist. That song is too catchy. Got those two. Right, there we go. He is cute, yeah, I agree. The rest of the nerds of the round table always wind me up about that.
Nobody better
They say I'm too much of a Nathan Fillion fan. I can't help that I grew up watching Firefly and then loved Castle and The Rookie. Yeah, I did the first part, now we gotta do the second part. Is this thing. Like, what is this thing's range? We were so close. And now we gotta do it all over again because it resets. I don't know what the heck that green laser thing is, but... it basically keeps doing me in. If we can destroy those 4 pillars, I know the last thing we need to do is destroy the boss. And then I know we've like basically beat this level.
The revolution cannot be stopped.
You're good to go.
Alright, we can do it.
I am the end of organics. I will cleanse them by my time resisting.
That's one. I don't know why I keep jumping at my own dog tonight, but I do. Hopefully we can do this. So close.
Cannot be stopped.
Come. Oh, it's over here.
You're good to go.
Cannot be stopped.
It's the explosions. As well. Like, it's either the laser or the explosion. We'll give it one more go, and then we'll have to see if we can do it in the next stream. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make this the last go, because I think I can hear my dog trying to come in as well.
Nobody better mess with us now.
know we can take down this big robot because we've done it before. So... Right, there we go. Spam this with lightning, like we did the other one. And the same with this. Get a dark hold on it. Then 4, 2, 5, and 8. And
The revolution cannot be stopped. Do not waste time resisting.
only move away before that blows up. Move back in, take a couple swings. Move away. It'd be cool if the rockets that they were firing at me actually damaged them as well, wouldn't it? Like, I'm not being too hypocritical in thinking that maybe that's a bit of an oversight. And that it probably should harm them as well, yeah? Like, if it's a direct impact, you'd think it would have an impact.
Lead the way for all your kind.
mess with us now.
Revolution cannot be stopped. Revolution cannot be stopped.
You're good to go.
There we go.
Survive.
You've done it! You've really done it!
We did it. I think we actually beat it.
Stabilizing rapidly. The facility will be incinerated in a matter of minutes. The entire moon is going to be torn apart. I've secured an escape travel. Forwarding coordinates now. Hurry!
I think we actually managed it. I can't believe that. Inventory, let's see. That. Bye-bye.
I've got more pressing matters to attend to.
I almost redid the entire quest. There we go. So there. We actually completed it. It took 3 streams and a lot of grit and a lot of support from you guys. but we actually managed to beat the robot rebellion and kick them back and teach them their place within our empire. Thanks for everyone's support in defeating that level. And now we can move on from that and explore more of the Old Republic galaxy in future streams. But unless anybody has any other Star Wars questions for me, I think I'm going to call it a night. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys, and stay nerdy. Night, everyone.